Unpopular opinion, but it has never been more competitive as a man than it is today. So in today's video, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step blueprint that I'm using to become a 10 out of 10 man. And a 10 out of 10 man isn't the richest or the most shredded or the most successful. He is the most well-rounded. If you're sitting on $25 million, but you're 100 pounds overweight, are you a 10 out of 10 man? No. If you're shredded and handsome as but you don't have $1,000 to your name, are you a 10 out of 10 man? Well, no. So this video isn't about maxing out one area of your life or becoming one-dimensionally successful. This video is about becoming the most well-rounded version of yourself, the one with the most agency, the ones that your loved ones can depend on. Number 1, build a capable body. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Socrates. When you were born, you were given a responsibility, and that responsibility is your body. And building a capable body doesn't mean becoming a bodybuilder. Building a capable body means building a body that's flexible, functional, can run long distances. You need to test your body on a daily basis and show yourself what you are capable of. If you are a young man, it is disrespectful to yourself to not be allocating a significant amount of your resources, which is your time, on becoming athletic, becoming strong, becoming functional, becoming flexible. A capable body is a capable mind, and the more that you show yourself what you are capable of, pushing past failure, being consistent, then all areas of your life are going to improve. Not just your time in the gym, not just your physique, not just your body, but every single vertical, every single aspect of your life. My friend, life is difficult and you cannot escape that reality, but you can make it a little bit easier on yourself by building a strong and capable body. And in 2026, having a capable aesthetic physique is one of the biggest status signals, because it's one of the things you just simply cannot fake. You can rent an Airbnb, you can buy a fake watch, you can LARP on Instagram, but when somebody sees you have a strong, athletic, fit physique, they know it took hours, and subconsciously they will respect you more as a result. And fuck that. You don't need their respect, but you will respect yourself even more. One of the biggest things that training 6 to 7 days a week has taught me is patience, because you don't go to the gym, you're not gonna look different after a workout, 2 workouts, 3 workouts. But if you stack these workouts, hundreds of workouts, thousands of hours in the gym, eventually you will get to a physique that you are immensely proud of because you know how much work it took. And yeah, looking good is one of the benefits of building your body, but the mental fortitude that you build with your time in the gym, all of the early morning workouts, all of the times you hit your macros, outweighs all of that. You need to have some type of physical challenge in your life, whether it's a marathon, whether it's lifting X amount of weights, whether it's training for your first fight. Do not get to your deathbed wondering what you were capable of. Number 2 is to become financially secure. Alex Hormozi, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, talks about how the moment he felt richest was when he had $100,000 in his bank account. $100,000 in the grand scheme of things is not that much money, but it provides freedom. More money equals more freedom, and having $100,000 in your bank account gives you the freedom to walk away from certain relationships that don't serve you, walking away from jobs that you hate, walking away from situations because you have the financial security to do so. The person who is consistently operating from a place of desperation will never reach their full potential. And I'm going to give you guys the best financial advice that you guys have ever gotten. Do not be worried about saving more money. Be worried about making more money, because most of us don't have a savings problem. We have an income problem. If you are a young man in your 20s, you need to be spending all of your time, all of your energy maniacally to stack up your first $100,000. Generally speaking, the more money that you make, the more useful that you are. And if you want to be a 10 out of 10 man, it's not about optimizing for happiness, it's about optimizing for usefulness. And the more money you have, the more useful you are, the more people you can help, and the more lives you can change. One of the things that I do on a daily basis is I have a net worth tracker on an Excel sheet, and every single day I look at how much money I have in the bank account. But a lot of people avoid doing this because ignorance is bliss, and sometimes not knowing just feels better. But becoming a 10 out of 10 man isn't about feeling better, it's about doing better. And a lot of people have this misconception that if you are optimizing for making as much money as you can possibly make, that you are somehow worshiping money. The goal is not to worship money. The goal is to stop being controlled by a lack of it. Number 3 is to develop agency. It took me 27 years to realize this, but the number 1 skill that you can have as a young man is the ability to figure out. High agency people realize that their actions control the outcome. The difference between a low agency person and a high agency person is the low agency person will look at something difficult and immediately think that this cannot be done, whereas a high agency person will ask themselves, what would need to be true for this to work? To become a 10 out of 10 man, you need to learn to ask questions. You need to learn to experiment. You need to learn to solve problems. Becoming a 10 out of 10 man is not about becoming the most intelligent. It is about becoming the most resourceful. And one of the most important things in life as a man is confidence. And confidence is not built by writing your goals down on a piece of paper. Confidence is built by doing the things that you say you're going to do and solving the problems that you tell yourself you're going to solve. Number 4 is control your emotions. I had to learn this lesson the hard way, but a man that cannot control his emotions is a dangerous man, and not the good kind of dangerous. And emotional control isn't about not feeling things, but it's about choosing the actions that you take after you feel them. If you get cheated on, you can use the anger to ruin your life, or you can use that anger to build the foundation for the rest of it. It's like in the movie The Social Network, where Mark Zuckerberg gets his heart broken by a girl, and instead of using that anger to ruin and destroy his reputation, he uses that anger to build a multi-hundred-billion-dollar company, Facebook. And I'll speak from personal experience. I would not be the man that I am today if I had never gotten my heart broken, because when I got my heart broken, I was a college dropout loser, and I went on to build a multi-six-figure business, move to Asia, and build a life that I love. And it was because I chose to use that anger that I was feeling to build instead of destroy. One of my favorite books is The Power of Now. And a big concept of this book is that there is space between what you think, your feelings, and your consciousness. And the bigger the space that you can create between the two, the better decisions that you are going to be able to make. You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, and they are simply clouds in the sky. And once you can learn to observe these clouds in the sky as a third person, then you're going to reach enlightenment. The faster that you can learn to regulate your emotions, the faster you will become a 10 out of 10 man. Everything that I've already spoken about, from stacking your first $100,000 or building your dream body or becoming a high agency person, will help this process of you being able to regulate your emotions. And once you regulate your emotions, you will make better decisions, and your life is simply a result of all of the decisions that you have made up until this point. Number 5 is learning how to fight. A man who does not understand violence is not a peaceful man. He is a useless man. If you don't have the physical capacity to defend the people that you love, it is impossible for you to ever become a 10 out of 10 man, because the unfortunate reality is the world is a very violent place. So if you don't have the capacity for violence, you effectively become less capable, you effectively become less useful. One of the lessons that I've learned from spending hundreds of hours in martial arts gym is the more that you understand violence, the less violent of a person that you are. The people that are on the street starting fights with strangers is because they have an ego, and there is nothing that will kill your ego more than fighting, because when you first walk into the gym, you're going to be walking into a gym where these people have been training their entire lives, and they could kill you with their bare hands if they wanted to. And the only way for you to survive in that type of environment is to kill your ego. The goal isn't to become violent. The goal is to become someone who is capable of it. And there's a big distinction between the two. Number 6 is to have standards as a man. Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to talk about. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your standards. When we talk about goals, goals are specifically the things that we want and the things that we desire in this life. Maybe you have a goal of making $10,000 per month, or maybe you have the goal of getting into the best shape of your life. Standards are the things that we tolerate. Everybody has goals, everybody has success that they want to reach, but not everybody has the standards to do so. One of these standards that I live by is I train 6 days a week, and I have built the identity that if I miss a training session, but that is the standard that was required to build the physique that I have today. And the more that you can develop standards, the less that you're going to have to rely on motivation. And I don't just mean having standards for yourself, but I mean having standards for your relationships, having standards for the people that you love, having standards for what you will tolerate. You need to have a set of standards in your life that you treat just as important as religion. And the beautiful thing about having higher standards for yourself is you will have higher standards for the people in your life. But what you're going to notice is that once you start to raise increase your standards, there's going to be a period of loneliness, because the people that you have in your life now, if you do not have higher standards, are not going to be able to live up to your new standards, which means you need to find a new environment. Standards in your life need to be clear and they need to be measurable. How many days are you going to go to the gym? How are you going to communicate in a relationship? What is acceptable? What is unacceptable? Your life is usually just a mirror of what you have repeatedly accepted. Number 7 is to develop social skills. This might get me in some trouble, but the more likable that you are, the easier the game of life becomes. One of the most cliche quotes is, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and that couldn't be closer to the truth. What you're gonna notice as you go through life is usually the most successful people aren't the most intelligent. They're the most charismatic. They're the most likable. But if I tell you to become more likable, that doesn't give you any actionable steps. But I want you to think about the 5 people that you like the most, whether it's online influencers, whether it's content creators, or whether it's the people in your life, and ask yourself, what do these people do that make me attracted to them? Maybe it's speaking clearly, maybe it's maintaining eye contact, maybe it's the way that they speak. Write down a list of all of the things that makes you gravitate towards them. After that, I want you to think about 5 people that you dislike. What do they do? What are their mannerisms? Why don't you like them? How do they speak? And once you have a comprehensive list, all you have to do is more of the things from the people that you like and less of the things from the list of the people that you dislike. And number 7 is to create a meaningful life. I wasted years of my life thinking that the most important thing in life was making money, but it's not. And how you make your money is more important than how much money you make. The dumbest thing you can do in life is living a life where you get rich, but you're miserable. There is absolutely nothing impressive about making millions of dollars if you wake up hating your life. You need to choose a mission and choose work that you will one day be proud to tell your kids about. The easiest way to wake up excited is by building something that actually helps other people. I run an online fitness coaching company where we help people get into the best shape of their lives, and as a result of them getting into the best shape of their life, losing 100 pounds, losing 20 pounds, building muscle, they become proud of who they are, they become a better entrepreneur, they become a better parent, and they also add years to their life. And that gets me excited every morning that I wake up. And do I always want to be sitting behind my laptop, putting in hours and hours and hours of work, building, hustling, grinding, sending outreach messages? No, but I have a mission, and this mission is bigger than myself. And you might reach material success, you might get the big house, you might get the fast car, you might get the 10 out of 10 girlfriend, but if you lack purpose, you're eventually going to feel empty. At the end of your life, nobody is going to care about how much money you made. They are going to care about how you treated them, the people that you affected, the lives that you changed. A 10 out of 10 man isn't just focused on making a living, he's focused on building a life that's worth living. A little bit of a longer video today, but every single day I wake up on my journey and with a mission of becoming a 10 out of 10 man, not only for myself, but for my future family, for my future wife, for my future kids. So I wanted to break this down in as much detail as I possibly could. Links in the description for customized training, nutrition, and accountability. And I will see you guys in the next video.